Hello guys, Mr. Dandaman2050 here, welcome to another video, and in today's video guys I'm going to be showing you the £200 gaming PC build for 2014. Now in this build guys it's going to feature an Intel Core i7, this is the 4930K, and this by the way is actually an hexa-core CPU, so it's not a quad-core or anything like that, it's an actual hexa-core, so it's going to be really fast. And then for the GPU we're going to be grabbing the MSI Geforce GTX 780 Ti. Now I don't know if any of you guys are aware, but the 780 Ti is the most expensive consumer card that you can buy for gaming. These are other kind of alternatives in terms of you can buy like two kind of 780s or something. You can kind of choose what you want to do, but for this build we're going to go with a single GPU because that tends to give the best performance in games when they first come out. And also, say if you're doing stuff like streaming or editing, a single GPU is always the best because most programs aren't exactly optimized for SLI or Crossfire or anything like that. So to start the build off guys, we're going to be grabbing the Intel Core i7. This is a 4930K. So this processor runs at 3.4 GHz and turbos to 3.9. It's an Ivy Bridge E socket LG2011 processor. Now this processor is hexa-core, which means it basically has 6 cores and also 12 threads. This CPU also has 12 megabytes of cache, and the max TDP on this is 130 watts. Now a good thing with this CPU, hensing that it is 2011, this actual CPU can support up to 64 gigabytes of RAM and can support the actual maximum speed of 1866 megahertz, and it can support 4 channels of memory. Now I think that's all I need to cover on the CPU. The PCI Express revision is 3. The T case is 66.6. 66.8 degrees. Now there's not much else I really want to cover with the CPU. They're the kind of main things, including the stock frequency, the turbo, the cores on the threads. Having 12 threads in gaming, that typically won't enhance your gaming, but I mean, chances are if you're spending £2,000 on a PC, you're wanting to also do stuff like editing and other kind of productivity things, which will take full 12 threads and will kind of use them to its best of ability to give you the best performance. And you can find this kind of performance in stuff like video editing programs which kind of rely on CPU power and not on its GPU power. So that's the CPU we're going to be grabbing. It is expensive at £430, but it's a hex-core CPU with 12 threads, so that's monster. Now for the cooling guys, since we're going with such a high-end CPU, it'll seem silly just to leave it with its stock cooler. So we're going to be grabbing the Corsair Hydro, the H100i. This is a water cooling performance closed loop CPU cooler. Now this supports the actual socket, so as you can see here, look, Intel LGA 2011, and for £91 this is an 120mm radiator. Now you get 2 fans, and this is the I version of the H100. The normal H100 actually had a problem where it had a really loud pump, and some people had a dodgy pump, some people didn't. But they've fixed this on here. They've also upgraded the fans, and you can actually change the colour of the Corsair thing. I don't know if that's something that you guys are kind of interested in, but it definitely brings a little bit more customizability to your build. Now the main thing with this guys is that by using a water cooler, you get 2 things: better performance in terms of the temps, and also the noise level. The noise level is a tiny bit quieter at 100% load, and as you can see, the actual temperature is miles lower. Now the problem with using stock cooler and overclocking is that chances are you can't really get far with a stock cooler. A lot of people will kind of say, oh no, you can't overclock with a stock cooler at all because it'll be really warm. But at the end of the day, by using this cooler, you're going to be able to overclock your processor to whatever you want to, so that's all good. Now for the motherboard guys, we're going to be grabbing the Gigabyte X79 UD3 motherboard. So this is an ATX full size motherboard and a socket 2011 for the CPU I've chosen. The maximum amount of RAM this motherboard supports is 32 gigs, and the maximum kind of frequency it allows is 2400 megahertz, which is the overclock. Now this motherboard, things worth mentioning is that it supports SLI and also Crossfire, so if you want to add multiple GPUs in the future, you can feel free and kind of up your performance there. If I just scroll down, you can see the other features I want to mention. Now it does have USB 3, so I just scroll down. Now this has 8 USB 2s, 2 USB 3s. So as well as that, you actually get your headers. So you have 3 USB 2 headers and also 1 USB 3 header. So in case you want to hook up USB 3s to the front of the case, you can do that with this. In terms of the SATA, it has 4 SATA 2 and it has 6 SATA 3. SATA 3 are your 6 gigabit ports, now, and they're exactly what you want to be using for stuff like SSDs and then faster kind of hard drives. So this motherboard's quite nice, and it's got a lot of features, including SLI and things like that. So if you want to kind of upgrade in the future, it's it's really upgradable, and yeah, you won't exactly be limited by going with this motherboard. So it's quite nice for £140. Now, I have checked out the actual manufacturer's website. Some of the specs that I wanted to read out on here, I have already mentioned from Aria's website, so I won't bother there. Now, for the RAM, guys, since we're spending £2,000, I think going with 16 gigabytes seems reasonable. So we're going to be getting 4 4GB DIMMs. Now, this is DDR3 memory, running at 1600 megahertz. Cast latency on this is 9, and it's 1.5 volts. Now, this is a dual channel kit, but you do actually get 4, so it's kind of like 2 dual channels. It all works together, dual channel, quad channel. It's all really the same. As soon as you slap the same kind of RAM modules in a motherboard, it'll recognise it. So yeah, £120. This is actually on sale at Aria, but I actually have this RAM myself. I have 2 4 gigs in my build, and they run nice. I'm not one to overclock RAM, but you can feel free. They do have heat spreaders on here a little bit, so we'll keep it like that. So that RAM to me is nice. I kind of trust that RAM, so that's exactly why I'm recommended it in this build. Now, for the graphic card, guys, we're going to be going with the MSI Geforce GTX 780 Ti. This is a gaming edition card from MSI, and it has 3 GB of GDDR5 RAM. Now, this is a PCI Express graphic card. Now, currently, guys, this graphic card is the highest consumer grade graphic card you can buy for gaming. And at £540 you'd blooming hope so. So the actual core clock on this is 1020 megahertz, and the boost clock, if I can find the boost clock anywhere, the boost clock is 1085. Now the memory clock on this is 7 gigahertz, and in terms of the amount of CUDA cores this has, it has 2880. Now, in terms of the connectors, this is one thing that you would really want to pay attention to. If I can get a picture of the back of the card, so there we are. So we have one HDMI 1.4, we have DisplayPort, and also 2 DVI ports there. Then we have a lot of kind of crowds there for cooling. Now this actual GPU has 2 fans, meaning you can do more overclocking than what you would usually be able to do with a GPU with 1 fan. Now, I don't know if any of you guys are kind of pro overclockers, but it's always worth overclocking a graphic card, and it's miles easier to overclock a graphic card than what it is a CPU. You don't really need to go into the BIOS and change a lot of numbers. Now, for $539.99, this GPU at the moment is pretty good to buy. Taking into consideration the £2,000 of spending today. This also is SLI ready, supports physics and has CUDA and all that wonderful stuff. This, guys, should max out any game at 1080p for definite with really good frame rates. In terms of gaming at 4K, you can give it a try. This graphic card will definitely be able to play games at 1440p and 1600p. Now, these many benchmarks online showing you, the actual FPS you get, but this card is the highest consumer card, so you're gonna have no trouble playing whatever games you want to, including them really demanding games like Metro. Is it 2033, something like that. Now for the storage, guys, and boot drive, we're going to be going with a 500GB Samsung 840 EVO SSD. This is a 2.5-inch 6GB solid state drive. For £250, this seems reasonable. Now, taking in consideration the read on this is 540 megabytes per second and the write is 520, it's quite high considering the capacity. Now, this uses the toggle NAND, and the cache on this is half a gig. As a 3-year warranty with Samsung, and as you guys probably know, Samsung make all their SSD things, in-house. They make their own controller, they make their own, RAM modules, just use everything of their own. Many other kind of SSD manufacturers, like Plexton, stuff like that, and Corsair, they tend to make parts of it and get the other parts from different companies, which generally means it's not as good, because Samsung really understand how SSDs work. They can make everything in house, and SSDs you know, are really, really fast and should be used for your boot drive for definite. This is 500 gigs, so you know, if you're going to be using your PC for productivity and gaming, I'm pretty sure you can install a load of programs and applications on this. Besides, I've installed a load of applications and also games on mine, and mine's only a 250, and I'm not exactly out of space yet. Now, for the storage, guys, we're going to be grabbing a 4TB Seagate Barracuda. This is a 3.5-inch SATA 3 hard drive. This spins at 5,900 RPM. That RPM seems really strange. I'm guessing that's a misprint or something, but it's 64 megabytes of cache, and I'm pretty sure this will be 7,200 RPM. I'm just pretty sure someone's got confused while writing that, because I don't think that spin rate exists really, but we'll leave that there. But a 4TB hard drive for £120 is just really good. Hard drives these days are like dirt to buy because SSDs are coming out, and I think, you know, as SSD prices continue to drop, hard drives are going to be really, really cheap soon, and I'll be surprised if 4TB are out £50 in like the next few years. So for £120, that's not bad. And you know, since this build is, you know, £10 short, I suppose you can buy, you know, two terabytes and maybe shove them in red. You can do whatever you want to. And I suppose if you've got a little bit extra money, you can kind of like, you know, you can kind of, you know, choose what kind of storage and stuff you want. But these builds are just designed to give you a rough idea of what to use. These personally are what I would put together if I kind of were building a PC of this price. But you know, use this as a rough idea, and if you want to change any of the specs, feel free. Now for the power supply, guys, we're going to be grabbing a 1000 watt Corsair RM series 80 plus gold modular power supply. So a few things to mention with this is that it's modular, so you only plug in the cables you need. It's 80 plus gold, so it's going to be really, really efficient and not gobble all the electric. And it's this power supply at a certain kind of percentage, it doesn't spin the fan, meaning it's really quiet. And yeah, that's about it. If I just type this into Google, I'm pretty sure we'll get some kind of graph that'll show you what kind of percentage the fan spins at. Now here we are, look. So until the system loading watts is up to 40%, the fan will be turned off. Yeah. After that, it'll run at just about 10 decibels until it gets to 70%, and then it'll start going up. But still, at 100%, it's only at about, what is it, about 27 decibels. Now, in terms of the efficiency, it really does matter with the efficiency, and a lot of people tend to go overkill with power supplies, is because you don't want to be using a power supply at, like, you know, the 100% load or 70 or 80 or something. It's not very efficient. Power supplies work the best and are the most efficient in terms of the electricity used in about the middle. So as you can see here, this build in my head will draw about 600 watts. That's kind of an estimate that I'm guessing. So say 600 watts will be about here. That's quite a high point in there. Now, fair enough, it might use, like, you know, maybe 400 or even 500 while it's idling, you know, meaning you'll even get, you know, better efficiency. But the efficiency rating on this is about 91, and that's pretty impressive comparing most power supplies are just above 80. So yeah, it's pretty good there. Just as it says on Corsair's website, you know, highly efficient RM series power supplies produce less heat and have lower operating costs. And of course, if you live in the UK, efficiency is even better, just because of the input that comes from the wall, which is pretty weird. I find it weird, but you know, we'll keep it like that. Now, moving on, guys, the case. We're also going to be going with a Corsair product for this, and we're going to be going with the Corsair Obsidian 650D. This is a black midi tower windowed gaming case, and for £137 it's quite nice because it's a large case. You know, the H100i will fit in here perfectly, and it has a window on it, which is pretty nice. A lot of you guys prefer cases with windows in, so you can kind of see in and kind of look at what you've built and kind of show other people easier than what it would be is if, like, you know, your case has no window on it, because you would have to like open the case and be like, oh, I built this, I'm a nerd and stuff like that. So that's about it. If I just show you some pictures, so yeah, a good thing with this is that you can take the actual side panel off by just, you know, pressing these down. That makes it incredibly easy. You know, you definitely won't need a screwdriver, and if you're one of these guys that don't particularly like thumb screws, yeah, you'll like this case. In terms of the inside, once it loads, you know, it's got a load of grommets all over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've also got, you know, the random odd spaces to put, you know, cables. But yeah, this build will be nice to build in, and you'll have a lot of options in terms of where to put your cables, so your build won't look messy. In terms of your hard drives, it looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots there. And then you've also got about, you've got 4 DVD slots. Or if you want to install Blu-ray players and whatnot, feel free. I don't include Blu-ray or DVD or any kind of drive like that, because I think, you know, why install your OS on a DVD drive when you can use a flash stick? At the end of the day, you're probably watching this on a PC, and if you are, get downloading an ISO for Windows 7 or Windows 8, because it's miles quicker and easier to install. Now, that's going to conclude the build, guys, featuring the Intel Core i7, the 4950K, and also the MSI GTX 780 Ti. Now, this, guys, is what I would build if I had £2,000 in my pocket. And, you know, take this as kind of a rough guide. You know, this is fair enough, this is what I would put together if I had the money, but you guys will have personal preference, especially when it comes to what kind of cooler you want to use, and also, you know, your storage and also your case, because, you know, the case is a big part about your PC, and it's generally, you know, what it looks like on the outside. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, comment, and also subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.